They're scared because they're ESL students, or they're scared because they were told they were a bad writer, or they're scared because all they do is read Twilight books and they think that that's bad.
I consider myself a good writer because I'm sort of a proficient writer. I mean, I've gotten A's on my
A lot of students just quote.
But if you had never done one before in high school and then you come here, you're going to struggle in the beginning.
So like I had to actually look up like engineering articles that kind of gave me the format.
I think the engineering students feel the pressure to be perfect earlier.
So that was a challenge just because I was never exposed to that before.
Writing is not a perfect art. Neither is bridge building. Neither is railroad construction.
I often tell my students, did you read this out loud to yourself?
I think probably we met the requirements that the professor wanted.
The difficulties would probably be what the professor specifically wants.
The students experience the program as you have to learn what each teacher wants.
They change from professor to professor. They want to focus in different things.
You can't assume too much.
And I've heard bad stories also about senior design.
If you're writing it an hour before you turn it in, you failed. Whether you get a B or a C or whatever is irrelevant. You have failed at the task because you're not building the skills.
They may be technically capable in understanding what you're trying to communicate, but they're not going to read your mind.
So no one is teaching you to fix what it is that you need fixed. They're expecting someone else to do it.
Technical writing is almost a separate language. It's a subspecies of the English language.
Since in regular like 1301, 1302 classes, we don't learn these sort of words. It was difficult to kind of learn first the language of engineering.
No one wants to get criticism.
Most of the time it's laziness.
You know, students have a lot on their plate. They'll write something and they won't review it.
I meet fewer engineering students who embrace the fact that writing is part of life. I think one of their challenges is that they tend not to see themselves as writers.
We don't write poetry.
One stereotype is scientists aren't writers, which is just totally false.
I don't have a lot of writing.
Technical memos, lab reports, you have technical report writing within a classroom, like a literature review. And then I've also written a thesis, which is like a humongous lab report and literature review combined.
You'll have a technical memorandum or report.
Engineers write a lot of memos.
We had to do memos.
They will write a decent number of formal reports. And reports, there's several kinds.
Each week I had to turn in 3 reports.
Lab reports.
There are the lab reports.
The lab reports,
Like the lab report.
there could be lab reports and
Lab report.
yeah, mainly lab reports.
But you also will write a lot of just quick email type. You know, this is the answer to this question.
You're more inclined to ask questions because you seem to want to know exactly what to do, and you need to be structured, and you need to know how to check off all the things.
It's benefited me extremely.
If you look at everything that contributed to your grade in engineering, again, all your engineering classes, your projects and project reports, and your lab reports and your lab memos and all those things probably account for 25-30% of your overall, all of the credit you've received.
I have done a ton of writing in my engineering career.
Though a lot of engineering is finding the solution, that's just half the problem. The other half of the problem is communicating the solution to the end users.
I think it's an essential skill.
You could focus basically on what you know.
You don't really understand something unless you can express it in your own words.
Your lab report helps you, it teaches you how to form those thoughts and those findings and present them in an appropriate manner.
The capacity to formulate an idea in words also helps you in the problem-solving process.
Or it's actually understanding what you're doing, the material, the subject matter.
An engineer who cannot communicate cannot progress or cannot succeed in a career.
It wasn't always because I was the smartest person. There were people a lot smarter than me, technically smarter than me, but I was a good writer.
The average engineering student is a little more willing to ask for help.
Make a better expression of my well?
If I could kind of break away from just writing the typical, using the same vocabulary, I guess you could say, over and over again, that would be
To get better at it.
Getting very familiar with citations and what type of formats technical writing and engineering writing and lab reports really call for.
I think find like a good point to argue.
Suggestion is just to take pride in what you're doing and make it the best that it can be.
They can use their science interest to their advantage as a writer.
The key to learning to write is to write a lot, and to never accept some halfway effort.
That students have to get over that sense that I don't want to get criticized for my work.
The most important suggestion I have is you need to find a writing mentor.
Review it once, give it out to somebody else, don't waste your time. They're going to catch things you missed. That's a much more effective way of doing things.
Write your shit early and do it 3 times.
If students want to be successful in engineering, yes, they have to know their stuff, but they should also spend some time refining those skills.
But that doesn't mean that someone who is complete, concise, and clear isn't going to occasionally have a mechanical error, have a extra word, or have a misspelling. They need to learn how to edit for those things.
Like, I would say make it more into like a hobby, like not hate writing, but like get used to it and to know that it's part of, like a big part of your life as for an engineer.
So if you think you hate writing classes, you should talk to an English major about biology.